During my time at Penn State, I had a co-op at Johnson & Johnson. So I worked at the McNeil Consumer Healthcare Facility in Fort Washington, Pennsylvania. That was my first industrial experience, so it gave me a really good glimpse into what it is like out in the real world. After that, I had an internship at GlaxoSmithKline, also down in the Philadelphia area. That was a little bit of a different experience. It was more at a pilot facility, but it also gave me some experience learning how to do scale-up activities with chemical processes. And they really helped me now to translate some of the skills I learned there into my current work.
I did 2 internships before I graduated. The first one was with Westinghouse. I worked in an office building as a maintenance engineer there. I was verifying a lot of calculations that more experienced engineers were doing. And my second internship, I worked for PepsiCo at a Gatorade plant in the maintenance and reliability department, also doing some project engineering for them. I would highly suggest doing any internship or co-op experience that you can while you're in college. I think that the experience that you gain is priceless to helping you figure out what you want to do for your full-time job, and any experience that you can get in industry will be beneficial to you long-term.
During my time here at Penn State, I was very fortunate to be able to have an internship with Clarity, who was eventually my full-time hiring company after school. And then I was able to do 2 co-op rotations, one during a spring semester and one during a summer with Dow Chemical down in Houston, Texas, and as well as out in Charleston, West Virginia.
While I was a chemical engineering student, after my freshman year, I did an internship with Hoffman LaRoche Pharmaceuticals in Nutley, New Jersey. I had an R&D support role, and throughout that experience, I learned at the end that I did not want to do R&D, which is just as valuable from a work experience as learning what you do love, learning what you don't want to do in your career one day. And then I came back sophomore year and I got a co-op position with Dow Chemical. I did 3 3-month terms. The first 2 that I did were in Midland, Michigan. The first one I was in a production engineering role, and that's where I learned that's the role and that's what interests me most with chemical engineering. It was a good fit, and I learned from there that, throughout my next 2 terms, I would try completely different roles, but that love and that passion of production and manufacturing has stuck with me from that very first co-op term. In my second co-op term, I did an improvement engineer role. So I had my hands around a capital project to improve a section of the plant, its efficiency and its productivity. And then my third term, I wanted to try a non-technical role within chemical engineering that a lot of chemical engineers from manufacturing go into, and that's supply chain. So I saw within Dow, within industry, a lot of chemical engineers go from technical to potentially non-technical roles one day. And so that was the experience I wanted to try over 3 months. So I didn't have to commit to a full-time role for 2 years one day during my career. So I did a supply chain role, loved that as well, and then came back and knew what I wanted to do for full-time. And so I'd say, if you have the opportunity, go to career fair, search for internships and co-ops, get work experience, if not only for determining for yourself what industry, what locations that you're interested in or not interested in, what roles you want to do when you start in your career, and then to figure out potentially what companies. That's one of your best opportunities to get hired with a company, is to do a co-op or internship and then work for them full-time after that.